Hello,
Hello.
Poison friends. If you couldn't tell, this is not Adam.
Nope.
This is Erin. She's here with me today, and she'll be with me on some other episodes in the future. And we are going to have some fun. Just like you guys, she loves mythology, like Greek mythology, which we're going to delve into a little bit today. And she's heard probably me talk about poisons way too much. So she's already quite experienced.
I've listened to all the episodes.
Yes. And you guys, if you guys know the logo that we have for the Poisoner's Almanac, she actually designed and created that herself. She is our graphic designer. She's really good at her job.
Oh,
we love it.
I appreciate it.
So if you're wearing one of our shirts or one of our hoodies with this on it, she did that.
Yes.
So cool beans. Wow, that was an old phrase, wasn't it? Cool beans.
Hey, bring it back.
In the 90s. That was probably earlier than the 90s, actually. But
I mean, stuff comes back, so
it's true. It's true.
Might as well bring that one.
I mean, why not?
Right.
It's
better
retro.
than what is it?
What do the kids say?
The 6-7 thing.
6-7. I'm so tired of that.
Same.
Oh my god. What is it? Brain rot?
I think.
I'm like, if you know it's brain rot, why are you doing it? It's like it's cool to have brain rot these days. Like if you tell your kids like, don't watch that, it's brain rot. They're like, yay!
Let's watch more.
Yes, awesome. So we call out our patrons every episode that we do. It's just one of the perks of being a patron on the Patreon. And, we have different tiers and stuff. And I know there's been some confusion with that second and third tier because I've kind of tried to merge them. But like Patreon is kind of weird in that it won't let me just merge the two. So I had to like put both of them as $3.
Oh, goodness.
But then it's like it doesn't go into effect for a good 30 days or something like that after you do it, 30 or 31 days, because they want to give you time to tell people. And I'm like, but I told people. So I don't. Yeah. Anyway, so if that's been confusing, that is why. So I am going to do a little more this month. I'll probably do, I think me and Camilla, we're going to do a little something for this month just to end the month with. So just kind of a little bonus, thing. But we just can't really do the Camilla sodes as much anymore with her schooling and stuff being what it is. And, she's just living her life. So doing her thing. And I want to respect that. So, but I am going to call out our patrons. We have a few new ones this month. I have so many things open. It's kind of crazy. Okay, here we go. No, that's pages. I need notes.
How many tabs?
My notes. I don't even want to say. So, so my list here, we've got Nicole Crane, Zaid, Brett Moser, Lynn Rocket, Ogre the Viking. That's just fun to say. Ogre the Viking. Maggie's Yarm, Maya Shostak, Sasha Rubel, Nicole Rivers, Woolly Wolf NZ, Liz Bianchini, Dixie Painter, James Mills, Bobby Sue, Amanda B, Mara Santiago, Grace Lehan, Genevieve, Nevesha Treats, Jay Went, Inken Hafner, Kiri Yorsek, Kate Leninen, Robert Jr., Jessica Gasparini, Soy Kasumi, Thomas Huff, Glow and Go, Julia Franzoni, Lady Digitalis, Leah Marie Matson, Ebby, Supergirl Sway, Admit. I think it's supposed to be Yadmit. It keeps changing my things. That is Yadmit. For the Y. Yadmit, Creative Otter, Dizzy Dancer, Mr. Slave, The Warped Witch, Dalek Party, Jennifer Ramirez Johnson, Desiree Davis, Melissa Emmel, Lynn Simpson, Erin Carey, Kristen Arnold, Rynel Alara, Oma D, Bonnie, Christian Skretergaard, Prim Risen, Stuart Slattery, Minnesota SPT, Pungrammed 101, Caitlin Martin, Wendy Goldstone, Too Fidgety, Jennifer Wilson Richter, Old Man Clyde. We've got Anna Maria, Vix, Blaufrosch, Morgan Brittenham, Christine Muljadi, T-Bug, Pterosaurus Hex, Olive Octopus, S-Star, like pirate.
Arg.
Knit Ninja, Sarah G, Jefferson Vargas, Donna Lanchinasi, Lauren Smith, Banana. Think I'm saying that right? Banana.
Sounds
Banana.
right.
Banana. Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Serpentine Fire, Melanie the SLP, Stuart Lee, Chris Milanak, Libby, Hetty, Hansapalooza, Lisa MNAK Schmutz, J Moon, Kelsey H. Got Paper Sky, Hannah Cook, Campus R, Britt Clark, Paris Langer, Andrea Shameless Agitator, Ruby Salazar, Cassandra Smiles, Daniel Soar, Jasmine, Dr. Doom, Maureen Hart, Justin Higgins, Nigel Hawkins, Judy Lowe, Nisa16, Seamus Picked, Lisa DW, Lashia Paris, Jesse Pollard, excuse me, I don't know why I said Julie, Jesse Pollard, Sarah, Jahira, Everyday Delirium, which I understand, April, Alicia, Melafantastico, Panda Cannoli, Amber Golder, Donna Foley, Michelle Cornett, Teethweir 5, Manu S, Natsumaya Teirin, Tater the Gator. That's just fun.
That is fun.
That is fun. Hannah Rose, Sherlock and Watson, Ragdoll Cats. And we have a couple of new ones, Nozomiko and Michelle Conroy. So thank you guys for all of your support. We really appreciate you guys. And honestly, I've seen some of you guys lately in our lives too. I've been trying to do lives, kind of getting in there. My problem is I don't know when to stop. So like we'll be on lives for like 2 hours. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's been 2 hours.
Oopsies.
So yeah. But I'd like to do more of those because we just kind of hang out, talk a little bit here and there, just kind of share with how the week's going, may share some poison stuff. I'm trying to figure out how to do like screen shares on certain ones so that we can maybe like show some fun, like, I don't know, poison documentaries that are kind of already like they're PBS. So they're kind of already
out there
and you can find them on YouTube and stuff. It'd be fun to watch together or whatever. But that's kind of in the works. I'm trying to figure that out. Y'all know me with technology. I'm figuring it out. But yeah, so
1 day at a time.
Indeed. Or 1 week at a time for me in technology.
I feel that.
But get excited because today we're going to be talking about the Oracle of Delphi and ceremonial toxins that go along with it that we probably wouldn't have known about until later because it was supernatural to them. So it was, anyway. But we're going to have fun talking about it because I know you like Greek mythology, Roman mythology, all the mythologies.
All the ancient Greek kind of stuff.
Yes,
like,
good times.
Love it. I don't know why, but it's just my go-to.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean,
thing
it's,
to learn about.
And honestly, some of the stories you're like, that's messy. So, especially with Zeus, come on. Always
getting into trouble.
Indeed. And I know a lot of our listeners love some Greek mythology. I've actually had this one has been recommended and suggested by a couple of people in our community. So I've been excited to dig into it. But it's going to be a lot of mythology. So we're going to get into some poisons and how that works into this too. So, and as I mentioned, we have a lot of listeners who do love Greek and Roman mythology, mythologies of other cultures. Now, Norse mythology is a lot. I've read some of it and I'm like, what?
How does this connect to that? Wait, what?
It's taken me a little time to really dig through that just because like I'm trying to get in my head how, Loki has a 6-legged horse kid and how all this works. And anyway, it's a bit different.
It's complicated.
It is. But the temple at Delphi was the one dedicated to the Greek god Apollo, who was believed to be the god of prophecy, among other things, music, archery, healing, and light. It's like, these major gods, they were like gods of multiple things. So you just level up and you get a new skill.
A jack of all trades, so to speak.
Yeah, you just get a new skill. You get a new feat.
There you go.
Like in D&D, you get a level up. So, and yeah, prophecy was one of those. So, but he was twin brother to Artemis, the goddess of the hunt. She was pretty cool herself. Also, he was leader of the Muses, especially musically. It
all connects.
He defeated the serpent Python near Delphi, and Pytho is actually another name for the temple site. So that kind of, intermixes there. Also, Pythia is the name of the high priestess or priestesses really, who served as oracles at this temple. Okay, so you may hear me call them high priestesses. You may hear me call like them oracles. Like the Oracle at Delphi is both like a person and it's kind of a place too.
Yeah.
Like it's, yeah. So, but the Pythia or Pythian priestesses, their order began by the 8th century BC at the latest, with some estimates showing earlier at about 1400 BC. So a long, long time ago.
They've been around
long time ago
for years.
So the priestess / oracle rose to importance above other means of seeking advice by the 7th century BC, and this would continue. She would continue to be consulted until the late 4th century AD. And we'll talk about how that ended and everything in just a little bit.
Yeah.
But the Oracle of Delphi was considered one of the most powerful women, and the importance of seeking her counsel was pretty well documented. I think we've all heard of the Oracle of Delphi in some way.
Some ways or fashion or
Even if you're not into Greek mythology, I feel like if you've seen a movie that dealt with, I don't know, the Odyssey, or you've heard somewhere the Oracle at Delphi.
Odyssey, Percy Jackson.
Something. Like I feel like it's going to be mentioned in most Greek mythological dealings, right? Because she was very important. Like you didn't go to war without seeking advice from the Oracle.
Yep.
So the Oracle at Delphi was considered one of the most powerful women. So such prominent figures of the classical world as Aeschylus, Aristotle, Diogenes, Euripides, Herodotus, Ovid, it's Herodotus. It's Herodotus. Herodotus.
Maybe.
Herodotus.
Sorry, I'm trying to think. So I played Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and you get to meet a lot of these characters and stuff. So I'm trying to remember. I'm like, is that how they pronounce it in the game?
And Diogenes is one of my favorite like philosophers. He was just crazy. He just did stuff, right?
Because why not?
He just did stuff, and it was like, oh, cool. But he was like super sarcastic and funny at the same time. He did some gross stuff too, but we won't talk about that. But yes, Herodotus, that guy, Ovid, Plato, Plutarch, Sophocles, and Thucydides, among others, have mentioned her quite a bit in their works. And we really only know how this oracle operated from such documentation, the classical, works that they wrote, and that of political figures who also sought her advice on such events, as wars and leadership. Some claimed that the Pythia or oracle would prophesy in this frenzied or, ecstatic state, speaking gibberish, as she breathed in these vapors that rose from this rocky crevice that she sat in front of. She would sit like on this sort of tall tripod thing, and it would have like holes in it, and the vapors would come up, and she would breathe them, and then it would get wild.
It kind of reminds me, did you ever watch the Pirates of the Caribbean? I think it's the third one where he's like, he wants all the fog and the smoke to go. I'm just, that's where my mind went with all that. And more steam.
What's the lady's name in that one that's supposed to be the sea witch lady?
Calypso.
Calypso, yeah. Because she's the one that gives a dude a jar of dirt.
Yep. I've got a jar of dirt.
He's like, is the jar of dirt, what is it? Is it good? She's like, if you don't want it, give it back. And he's like, no. Then it helps. She was great. But so we have all this going on. She's sitting in front of the crevice, and it's documented that she's breathing this stuff in. But priests would restructure this gibberish into dactylic hexameter, which is this common form of writing epic poetry among the Greeks. The Odyssey, for instance, is written in dactylic hexameter. There are others who argue that the classical sources uniformly represent the Pythia speaking intelligibly and then giving like prophecies in their own voice. But for the most part, it was like she was speaking gibberish. The priests would translate that kind of thing. Herodotus, for example, wrote plainly in the 5th century BC that the oracle herself spoke in dactylic hexameter, which sounds difficult and honestly kind of obnoxious, not going to lie. But it would make sense because Apollo was the god of music as well. So, I mean, maybe that's just the way it went. And she operated over a long time. So it could have been one way here, another way down the road. May also be, however, that earlier on the priestess was selected from an influential family, who would be well educated in geography, politics, history, philosophy, and the arts. And then later on, they would choose uneducated peasant women, instead. So it didn't really matter so much their education status or even their family status at some point. Like it really came down to who the priestesses kind of chose, right?
Right.
Now, at the height of the oracle's popularity, as many as like 3 priestesses served as Pythia, the high priestess, the oracle, with like 2 taking turns, and there'd be another in reserve. I mean, makes sense if that many people are seeking out.
Gotta take a break
advice.
every so often.
Yeah, I mean, can only speak for the gods, or for Apollo so many times.
Well, that, and if you're, as you said, breathing in so many different views, like
I don't know, like they would see it as the pneuma, which was like this sort of spirit of the divine, or the gods, that kind of thing. So like to them it was like, oh, these aren't gases coming from within the earth. This is God's the gods, spirit. It's their gases, so it's good gases
until they pass out.
yeah. So they saw it kind of in that way. And there's actually, we're going to talk about a little bit of mythology that ties that all together too, and like why they thought that was what it was, and like where it's all like at and everything too makes sense to them. But yeah, so when one of these oracles died, another would be selected from a sort of a temple guild of like Delphian priestesses, all native to Delphi and all in good character. They were all from that area. At first, young virgin priestesses would be chosen as Pythia or oracles, but after an incident in which this dude, Ecrates, the Thessalian. It's a weird, like I want to say it so fast.
Can you say it 5 times fast?
Thessalian. But yeah, Ecrates, the Thessalian, apparently kidnapped a young Pythian and violated her. And then after that, it was deemed into law that those serving the role in future would be an elderly woman of about 50, dressed in the costume of a virgin as a sort of reminder of the prophetess of olden times. So it did not matter, as I said, what the priestess's background was, socially or economically. The choosing was just based more on spiritual feeling that the surviving priestesses had. It's like
Master Oogway when choosing the dragon warrior.
Exactly. Like they're just like, fascinating. Great movie though.
Love that movie. I saw it so many times in theaters as a kid.
Enough talk. Let's fight. Now, you could be chosen if you were married, but once you assumed the position, you were forced to cease all family responsibilities, marital relations, and individual identity. And now you and I have watched some very dramatic reality TV shows, and now I need a reality show where it's these like
that would
priestesses.
Be a fun.
Wouldn't it be funny? Like, yeah, it's kind of like The Office.
Yes,
and like it's like that kind of fake reality TV sort of. It'd be funny. I would watch it.
Same. I mean, shoot, you could do that. Would be really cool. Like taking all these like different parts of history, doing it too.
Yeah. Oh my gosh,
I'd watch that.
Have you seen? Oh, it's a lady. She does like the history. I think what is her name? We watched a little bit of it. I think I forgot her name.
It's like the super sarcastic. Yeah, like she sounds so serious about everything.
Yeah, and she's like, she asks the questions, and it's such a ridiculous question, but she's so serious about it.
And then like the people trying to answer it are just like, what?
Somebody is screaming at their screen right now, her name, and it's gonna come to me at like 3 a.m. Is what'll happen.
I'll get the text. It was so and so.
I know.
Like I can picture. I see her face. For a while.
Yeah,
I see her face.
Same.
I know who you're talking
about.
And
her hair, like.
Yep.
It'll come to me, but that's what I'm thinking of too. Still, the job was considered honorable, it was respectable. It came with some great benefits. I mean, women serving as oracle, they didn't have to pay taxes. They could own land, a salary and housing provided by the state, allowances to attend social functions, and, fun accessories like golden crowns. I mean, like in today's world, you're like, I mean,
hello,
I volunteer as tribute, right? Like, I get housing, cool. I get no taxes, heck yeah.
I get to go to all the events for free.
I mean, I may say no, but I mean, I'm invited, right?
Right.
So I sit home with my golden crown and just read instead. Now, the job, though, was also said to be exhausting. According to Plutarch, who served as a priest during the late 1st century and early 2nd century AD, it often shortened the lives of those serving it. And by exhausting, it was kind of like the process of this prophesying that they did was intense. It was physical. There was a lot of thrashing and, just, crazy, chaotic type stuff. Now, a little fun history behind the priests of Delphi. the priests, the dudes.
Mm-hmm.
According to stories going as far back as 580 to 570 BC, Apollo himself chose his first priests from Cretans of Knossos, I think where Minos was from. Minos. Where Minos was from. He's the guy that had the labyrinth with the beastie. What is his name?
The Minotaur?
The Minotaur, which is literally just right in his name.
Oh, yeah. I was about to say, I mean, shoot, that one D&D campaign, we fought him. Remember
yes,
that
was. And
was
like,
fun.
you were like,
I said, I'm calling it now.
It's a Minotaur.
We're fighting one.
And honestly, we beat him way too easy.
Yeah.
To be honest.
I mean,
that was like our first, that was kind of like our first run though.
Yeah.
I feel like. And so after that, I think Casey was like, let's amp things up. Yeah.
That was fun though.
It was. Kind of gauging where we were, I guess, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Now these sailors, these Cretans of Knossos, they were on a boat just sailing to Pylos when Apollo, in the form of a dolphin, just jumps on their boat, right? So this god in dolphin form introduces himself, and of course the men are terrified. I mean, I would be as well. Like, who does that?
Yeah.
Just jump on, like, you're gonna jump on the boat?
But also, like, if it's on the boat, wouldn't it be flopping around?
Hey guys, how's it going? It's me, it's Apollo. I would be freaking out too. Like, first of all, I feel like you as a god would know not to do it that way. Like, you would know that we would be a little bit weirded out. It also gives me like what is it from Moana when he has the shark head?
Yes, I was just thinking that, but like in dolphin form, I'm like, did he do the half?
Yeah, Maui. He's like got the shark head. Shark head. Sorry. That's what I'm seeing too. I'm like, cool.
I love how they're both the same wavelength.
Exactly. Shark head.
The dolphin head, I guess.
Dolphin head.
Yeah.
It would freak me out too. And like, people think dolphins are like these glorious, sweet creatures. And don't get me wrong, I want to preserve them and I want them to have their place in the ocean. But I've heard they can be mean.
Did you see? I don't know how true this story is, but the one on the, like, I've been seeing it on social media about the guy that got like kidnapped by dolphins.
Oh yes. Oh, we're gonna mention him in a minute because honestly, some of this story kind of reminds me of it, and I'm like,
all right.
Okay.
Like, I'm really curious. I'm like, I want to know.
Gerald.
Is this real? Yeah.
His name was Gerald. I know the dolphin's name, but I cannot remember for the life of me the name of that woman who does
yeah.
Anyway, if I ever get kidnapped by a dolphin, at least I know who to ask for.
Is Gerald here?
If I get kidnapped by a dolphin, we're in trouble. We're in trouble. I'm gonna have. I've got other things going on.
I mean, especially since we're not that close to the coast right now either. So.
Yes, indeed. Dolphin shows up in like a trench coat.
I know, right?
Hey.
What you doing?
You know what? I've seen Finding Nemo and Finding Dory. I don't trust it. So yeah, God in dolphin form. He's jumping on this boat and he's just like, "Hey, what's up, guys?" And you know, and again, it's like Gerald, that dolphin, like the engineer in Florida says kidnapped him and made him work on an underwater city. And I'm thinking, like, is Apollo Gerald? Is Gerald Apollo?
We figured it out.
Like. And why? Anyway, but
I mean, didn't you say like the guys or the stories say like he's building these structures underwater?
Yeah, and he's like this. He's not like just a usual guy. He's an engineer. He's got degrees in like aeronautics or aerospace engineering or something like that. And they said that his lungs looked like they had been underwater for a long time, and they couldn't explain it. And I'm like,
but he didn't drown. Like,
and I'm just thinking, look, I'm one of the biggest skeptics out there. I'm thinking the guy had sunstroke or something. Like,
see, that's what I was thinking.
I'm thinking he had some sort of minty bee, some sort of breakdown, something. But I'm looking at this and I'm like,
also, if he's still alive though, how are they looking inside his? I mean, how are they able to tell what's in his lungs?
They're probably doing scans, but also doing the breathing. What is that thing? You blow into it to see your strength, breathing strength and stuff. So they're doing different tests and stuff. They're probably doing scans, but
sorry, that's where my brain went. I'm like, well,
I mean, he was sunburned as no other, but at the same time, it's like if you underwater that long, you go that deep, the sun is not touching you, and also you would be squeezed by the pressure. So unless Apollo Gerald is magical, who knows?
I mean, obviously,
he's talking to him, so what the heck,
right?
If I come to you and say a dolphin took me underwater, you need to take me somewhere.
All right, Becca.
I don't know exactly where, but take me somewhere. Watch that actually happen to me, and I'm like, no, that is serious. Freaking nobody's paying attention. Who is listening to me?
No, see, okay, for you, it wouldn't be a dolphin. It'd be like a raccoon.
It would be. And a raccoon would talk to me.
And it'd be like, come build us the structure.
And I'd be like, you know what? Mood. Let's go. Can I live there?
Is this technically what you're doing with the backyard? Right? No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I plead the fifth, I'm not allowed to say. So.
Sorry.
Oh, no, I want a raccoon. Not so much a dolphin because I've heard they're mean. They can stay over there. They're beautiful. Just don't, they literally will try to kill other dolphins that like out compete them. So I'm like,
they also use blowfish to get themselves high.
That doesn't surprise me. They're very intelligent creatures.
Right.
Very intelligent. I've heard they can be mean if they don't like you, they can kill you if they wanted to. They can drown you. But yeah, that's
anyways, sorry.
Gerald / Apollo and his crew, I guess. Also, like if I would have, he told these men to follow them, to follow him. That'd be like a pod of dolphins. He told his men to follow him to this place where you will have rich offerings. And so they were like, cool, let's do it. So they went singing and dancing. They're like, yeah, this is great. We just found a dolphin god dude, and he's taking us to this place of treasure, I guess. And so, now, boom, they're priests, I guess. And I would have asked more questions,
How long were they at sea? Had the sun gotten to them?
I mean,
maybe. I don't know.
Gerald, if you're out there, if you could like tell us a little something. But yeah, I would have asked more questions because like having read Greek and Roman mythology, you ask questions, even if it's a god. You ask questions. Like I've read what happens to people who don't ask questions. So there were usually 2 priests of Apollo at any given time as well. Though when first dedicated, it may have only started with just 1 priest, and they were like, hey, this is hard. We need to bring somebody else in. But they were in charge of the sanctuary. They would be selected from the citizens of Delphi, after the whole Dolphin Man incident. And they held this position for life. They performed sacrifices, like goats, oversaw the Oracle, and were in charge of the Pythian games played in Apollo's honor. But yeah, so other officials of the temple included probably going to say this wrong, hosioi. It's a Greek word, so do my best.
I'm working on Greek right now on Duolingo, but I haven't got to that point yet.
Hosioi. So. It means holy ones. Okay. So, and then there's the prophetai, which is where we get the English term prophet from. Now 5 hosioi, or holy ones, were often present and likely had something to do with attending like the oracle or those who would come to, visit. The prophetai may have documented or translated the oracle's prophecies, or the term could have simply been for all of those involved with the temple, including the oracle, the priests, that kind of thing. Could have been more of a general term.
Yeah.
The functions of these 2 types of officials aren't really known all that well. They just kind of knew that these were names that were mentioned, like these were titles that were mentioned. Now, there were other temples involved in prophetic oracles and with Apollo, of course, but it was said that Delphi had the pneuma of Apollo, the breath or spirit. That's what they thought they were kind of breathing in and, communing through that. And the site was unique as it was known to the Greeks as the omphalos, or the navel / center of the world, kind of like the navel is the center of your, I guess you could say it was the center of your body, depending on the perspective, but they saw it as the center of the world, of the earth, I guess, which was discovered when I think Zeus let go 2 eagles or something. I think it was Zeus. He let go 2 eagles, and they would circle. One would go on one side, the other one would go to the other side. And when they met, that was supposed to be the center of the world, very early geometry.
Right.
Right. So, yes.
What flat earthers have to say about that?
No.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm sorry.
See?
I'm sorry.
No, don't be. We don't do flat earth here. Okay. Omphalos, the navel, the center of the world. And, was the supreme authority when it came to prophecy, apparently, because of that, because it was here that it would be like the veil was thin. You could talk to the gods easier with, this place or stones from this place, basically. Now, the Oracle also had strange working hours, you could say. They could only be consulted 1 day a month and only during the 9 warmest months of the year. So it's kind of a nice schedule, if you think about it, during the other 3 winter months, Apollo was apparently like on vacation because he left the temple, leaving his half-brother Dionysus, whose tomb was also in the temple at Delphi. And Apollo would go, him, I think, and some of the other major gods would go to this other place. We don't talk about that, but because if I do, we're going to talk about something completely different. I know how I am.
We're going to go on another tangent.
I know how I am. So where did he go? Okay, well, let's talk about his timeshare. I'm just kidding.
He's on his at his winter house.
Yes, exactly.
Where it's nice and warm.
Anyway, so Dionysus would be the one kind of in charge during these months. He had his own like little tomb there. He was kind of like he was kind of sharing this temple in a way. So the mythology here behind Dionysus is complex, and it would take a lot of time to go into itself. So just know that according to Orphic tradition, which is like these traditions told by the poet Orpheus, who he's the one that descended to the underworld. He came back and he kind of restructured the story of Dionysus. Basically, there was this whole like mysteries of Dionysus. There was this whole different kind of structured thing with him. He is known as like the twice born god, I think. There's a bunch about Dionysus out there. Like I just touched on the littlest bit.
If there's something poison related, we could talk about him later.
I mean, he was,
right?
God of wine and ecstasy and giving into
festivals.
Urges and instinct and that kind of thing. So, and it makes sense though, because you kind of see like you have this balance of order and rationality with Apollo giving prophecy, he's giving answer, he's giving some sort of, putting order to things, and you have Dionysus, who is this
complete opposite
dude that's of chaos, ecstasy, kind of dude.
More questions than answers.
But it's like this balance, right? And so, and you see this kind of in other parts of Greek and Roman mythology, like Persephone and Demeter. Like whenever Persephone was with Hades, it would be winter, right? And then whenever she would come back, it would be spring and summer, that kind of thing. So, which that itself is a pretty cool story. The whole thing that we don't have time to jump all the way into.
Another story, another day.
Look, I worked so hard to not go off on so many tangents. I really did. I was like, we'll be here all day if I do this. I can't do it. So you've got Apollo and Dionysus. They're kind of roomies, sort of.
The bros.
Kind of, he's just kind of like, yeah, bro, go do your thing, and I'll just kind of watch over for 3 months. But Dionysus, he was like, I think according to Orphic, like myth too, he was torn apart by the Titans.
Oh,
so I mean, he kind of deserves to have a little break. Maybe only get 3 months. Have 3 months of work. So anyway, and they had their own festivals on this island with Dionysus. They had their own like, fun, crazy, drunken fests that we don't have time to get into either. But anyway, Apollo would apparently return on his birthday. The beginning of spring, it was like the 7th day of the month that spring began, for them. So, but from then until the next winter, when Apollo would depart again, the oracles were led once a month, usually the 7th of each month, really to be precise, because that was like a sacred number to them. They would be led into fasting and ceremonial purification rites to prepare them for communing with the gods, or with Apollo, if you will, the divine.
Yes.
So a couple of priests would walk alongside them. They would recite this little thing. It goes, servant of the Delphian Apollo, go to the Castalian spring, wash in its silvery eddies, and return cleansed to the temple. Guard your lips from offense to those who ask for oracles. Let the gods answer. Come pure from all private fault. And I'm sure it sounds better in Greek, but that's the translated version. It wouldn't sound better in Greek if I read it because I don't know Greek. So, But the oracle would be wearing this purple veil to cover their face. Then they would go and bathe naked in the Castalian spring. I'd be kind of scared. Like, what's in this water, right? They're probably not. They probably weren't as, germophobic and terrified of critters as I am. But then they would drink from the holy waters of Casodus, which was named for a nymph. And this is where a naiad or nymph with these divine powers was said to live.
Gotcha.
So, but there were other aspects such as dancing and then like the sprinkling of the temple floor with this holy water that they were also drinking. But then they would return to the temple where there were these 3 phrases written in Greek on a column of the portico, like right outside the main temple. And the 3 phrases read in it was in Greek. So this is just the translation, and it could be translated loosely, but know thyself, nothing to excess, and make a pledge and mischief is nigh, or basically surety brings ruin. So these were like these little maxims, these sort of truths to consider, as you come and make your plea or, ask your question to basically the oracle and basically Apollo. Now, those wishing to consult the oracle chose their place in line by drawing lots. However, if you were more influential, say a king or a statesman, if you could offer more of a financial donation, you were usually blessed with a higher spot,
Yep.
So not much has changed. But also the citizens of Delphi were considered, ahead of those visiting from other places. Consultants would be interviewed by the priests usually ahead of time, just so that genuine cases could be picked, as opposed to like, oh, what should I get for dinner tonight? Those kinds of questions, I guess.
Yeah. What clothes should I wear tomorrow?
Like, oh my gosh, should I, is this the guy? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm like, you've been here 4 times, Cassandra. Stop it.
Which is funny because that's one of the female characters' name in Odyssey.
True.
Cassandra. Yep.
Cassandra.
Sorry.
Isn't there like a whole, there's a Cassandra.
Alexios.
But there's like something to do with her name. There's like not a syndrome or the Cassandra. I gotta look it up. I'll look it up in a minute just to round that off. But there's something to do with her name that I know I've read recently that has to do with like a way people act. So I'll look it up in a minute though. They named it after, I think they named it after a Greek character named Cassandra though. So it might be her.
I'm wondering now.
Yeah. I'll look it up once we're done here. That way I won't like just leave people hanging. So, but yeah, those wishing to do this, they would have to go to the priests, make sure that their question, I guess, was worth asking, those allowed to approach the oracle with their question would be allowed to proceed to the temple. They would carry laurel branches, which were sacred to Apollo. Offerings of gifts were made to the oracle, and there was just this required payment of 1 goat, and they would have to purchase this sacrificial cake called Polanos. It was basically made up of flour, honey, and olive oil. It was kind of in place of like a monetary donation. You'd like purchase it there on the island, and it would be sacrificed there as well. The oracle would remove her purple veil. She'd be wearing this kind of simple, short white dress and approach the fire temple of Hestia. So we have another goddess in play here, the goddess of hearth and home. And this is where, the goat that they would have brought, would be taken.
Yeah.
And technically it was for sacrifice, but first they would sprinkle water on this goat. And it was believed that if the goat trembled or like shook it off, shook, then it was a good sign. It was like, oh, okay, we can continue with what we're about to do. Yeah. But if it didn't do that, if it just stood still and didn't do anything, it was a bad omen, right? Like my thing is like, what if like he barely shook and you're all like, did he shake? Did he do it?
Did that count?
Did you see it? I think I saw it. Did you see it? Like that would be me. Like I'd be questioning myself.
Me checking everything before I leave for the day.
Exactly. Oh God.
Wait, did I turn that off? Did I lock that?
And the goat's like, what the heck are y'all doing? But if he didn't, then it was believed that the gods had rejected the one consulting and the meeting could not take place. Now, there is one account from Plutarch about a consultation that did go ahead, even though the goat didn't tremble, showing that the gods were like, nah, no, we're not into this. And apparently the priestess became uncontrollable during the process of receiving prophecy, and she like died a few days after.
Oh.
And my thing is, why can't like the gods, like, you hear all these stories and it's like the gods give this random sign. It's like, maybe spell it out, like just say something. Or like,
yes or no.
right? Just maybe the goat can talk and be like, no. I just feel like there's better ways of doing this.
Just the goat starts screaming.
Exactly.
They got those screaming goats.
Yeah. I'd be like, no, this one don't want to. Which, I mean, if I'm the goat, I'm like, don't sacrifice me.
Help!
You just saw what happened to the other goat and you're getting wise. Like, what the? You said we were going to the park. So, yes. So don't, don't ignore the goat, I guess. Now, the goat was sacrificed, as was the cake, if things were going to plan. Yeah. And they would just toss this expensive cake into the fire. Like, just feels kind of wrong. But, I mean, it feels wrong for the goat, too. But I'm just saying, like, you made this cake, and now you're just going to...
It's gone. Not even getting used.
Yeah. But the goat's goat's liver would be examined after this for further signs of good or bad outcome, in case they were like, just in case. Just in case, what's the liver look like? And I'm not sure what they were looking for exactly. It's not like the whole tea leaves thing.
Yeah.
Like, can you see the grim in like tea in a goat liver?
You're gonna suffer, but you're gonna
be
like
happy about it.
Or happy, yeah.
You're looking like, I don't know, that shape's a little iffy. Like, I don't know what you'd be looking for. I guess they knew, but
is it like a spotty lip? Like
I guess if it looked unhealthy, but then like they would need to know a little bit about goat livers. I imagine they looked at enough of them to be like,
this one's good. This one's not that good.
But if everything passed, the oracle would proceed to this, tripod stool of sorts over the navel, or this stone or statue representing the omphalos, the stone. Basically, that the stone was supposed to represent that which Rhea, the mother of Zeus and company, the wife of Kronos, like put in swaddling clothes, and she tried to present it to Kronos to deceive him, to thinking he thought it was Zeus or whatever, because he was into swallowing his kids, right? He didn't want them taken over, like he did his dad.
Right.
So she tricked him into swallowing this instead. Then of course we know, like, he threw up all his children.
Yeah. Well, then Zeus come back, attack him, and like basically like to get them all out.
Yeah, and like he got sick. Zeus came in because he didn't swallow Zeus, but then like I think Athena comes from Zeus's head.
Yeah,
like a crack in his head or something.
Like it came out of his ear.
Yeah, like and she's the goddess of wisdom. So there you go. Yeah, interesting stuff.
A lot of different. Yeah.
Where were you born? Well, I got a story for you. So yeah, crazy stuff. But this is where that kind of idea of that stone comes from. There's this stone, and from it is emitting the pneuma, or the breath / spirit of Apollo, because it's like that. That's where where they could commune with the gods. These omphalos stones were said to be tools for communing with the gods. So the stone was near this crevice where vapors and fumes from underground would rise, and there were also these like eagle statues that represented Zeus, from like when he sent the two eagles across, and they found this one spot. The oracle would be holding laurel branches, and some say she would chew them as well. Some just say she was holding them just in preparation.
Yeah.
And also a dish of the water of Cassotis, the Cassotis River, that she would just kind of gaze into. Then she would breathe the fumes from the crevice by the omphalos stone, go into this sort of trance, and speak whatever answers, the gods were giving. Okay.
Right.
Often, as I mentioned, it was gibberish and just parts of phrases spoken kind of wildly, unintelligible mutterings that the priests would then translate. And like my thing is, like, do the priests get like training on this translating thing? Like they're just like, I think that's what this means. Or like, are they sniffing this stuff a little bit too, and just getting a little bit of it, and they're like, yeah, they're just vibing. I don't know, but
the world may never know.
It's just, here we are. Anyway, some 500 to 615 of these prophecies have survived. Okay, which is pretty fascinating for how old all of this is. And around half of them were proven to be true historically, which statistically speaking, I mean, that tracks. I mean, of course you get about half right, half wrong. I mean, that tracks, my main topic with this is just like, what was the oracle breathing from that crevice, and just how influential were these prophecies? Because people were like coming from all over the place to seek her out. But to answer the last question first, invasions and wars were decided, based on answers from the Oracle at Delphi. In one case, for instance, as told by Herodotus, Croesus, the king of the Lydians, went to ask the oracle if he should wage war against the Persians, who were struggling apparently at this point, like they weren't doing great. And her answer was that he would destroy a great empire if he attacked them. Now, plot twist, Croesus attacked the Persians, and it was Croesus' own empire that was destroyed because he attacked. Which also shows that the oracle sometimes gave vague and tricky answers.
Yep.
Right? So
that tracks.
And I'm just like, you paying all this stuff, going all this way to see this chick, and she can't even speak straight. I guess it's Apollo, but it's like all this work's being done.
Right.
She acting crazy on the floor over there or on her tripod, and you can't give me a straight answer. I'm a little annoyed by that. We figured out the goat, and now we can't figure out you. So, like,
make it make sense.
Do I get a warranty with this? Can I get my goat back?
Right.
No? Okay.
Maybe get that cake back.
Yeah. Sometimes she give an answer that would be true either way, depending on the perspective. Right? Sure, a great empire was destroyed, but had they destroyed the Persians, I guess you could have said that. I mean, they weren't great at the time, but still, like, I don't know.
True.
It just seems like you could go either way. Now, when asked if anyone was wiser than Socrates, the Pythia declared none wiser. So, Socrates went on his little philosophical tour before he was eventually made to end his life by drinking poison hemlock.
Yeah.
So, sucks for him.
Maybe another episode.
We have talked about Socrates a little bit. We talked about poison hemlock, but I'm always interested in revisiting Socrates and the other very interesting
characters, so to speak.
Yeah, because a lot of those philosophers we look onto and we're like, yeah, this great guy said this. They also said some really crazy stuff.
Yep.
That you're like,
let's dive into that.
Wait a minute. I don't think that's how that goes. They also said some pretty terrible things about women. So,
yeah.
But in another case, the Athenians, who were afraid of the approaching Persians of King Xerxes, they had heard from the Oracle of Delphi that only wooden walls would save them. Now, some elders of Athens, they interpreted this as, well, we should wall ourselves in the Acropolis, because that's where the temple to Athena is. Athena was this protector of Athens, and they believed, like, well, she's going to protect her own temple. Of course she is, right?
Yeah.
And others, especially Themistocles. It's a fun name. That's fun to say. He was an Athenian general and leader who was very knowledgeable about, naval prowess. This was something he was experienced in. He interpreted the wooden walls as the holes of the Athenian fleet. So, long story short, the Persians came and killed those in the Acropolis and burned the city. So, shouldn't have gone to the Acropolis. It's like one of those choose your own adventure books. You ever do that thing where you like look ahead and you're like, am I gonna die if I choose this one? I totally cheated a couple of times, I'm not gonna lie. But
I had to know if it was worth it.
Yeah, I mean, so the Athenian fleet and those with it would go on to defeat the Persians in the Battle of Salamis. And even though they were like definitely outnumbered, they still won because of this. The Themistocles was really good at strategy. So now, as you can see, again, the answers gained by the oracle just weren't always clear. They had to be interpreted well. But seeking advice of the oracle was often considered a must for major decisions, either political or personal. If you had a big question, you wanted to go and ask, what should I do? Now, I've already told you the origin story behind the first priests of Delphi, but there is an origin story for the oracle as well, priestesses, that I've saved for now because it goes with the whole what the heck was girl inhaling. Diodorus of Sicily, he was this ancient historian, explains one possibility. According to him, a goat herder named Coritus was just walking with his goats, as was his job, and noticed that one of the goats, which had fallen into this crack in the earth, he was acting a little different. Like this goat, there's something off about his goat. He's walking funny. He's doing a little weird stuff right now. And so, not being one to survive a horror movie, he goes to investigate. He's like, well, I want to go see what happened. I'm going to go in there too. Don't do that. He reportedly experienced this divine presence and the ability to see outside of the present into the past and the future. So he was tripping, right, on something. He met Gerald, you know, he went to that underwater city. He was like, man. And so he went to go share with his neighbors. You know, he was all excited about this new development or whatever. I'm sure there wasn't too much going on besides herding sheep at this point. He done found like the biggest new thing. So he's like, he starts sharing all of this with his neighbors. And then men from his village, you know, start showing up, and they experience similar things. Although some of them kind of disappeared, like they kind of fell into the crevices of the earth because they tripped a little too hard. Tripped a little too hard.
Well played.
Yeah, a little too hard. Like, I'm sorry, what? Like, anyway, a shrine was erected there because, you know, if these villagers can't explain it and it feels out of their control, it's got to be divine or witchy or something, right? You're either going to worship it or you're going to burn it, right? If it's a woman, you're probably going to burn it. But if it's, you know, something that isn't a woman, you're going to worship it. That's about right, honestly.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad, but it
is
pretty right. So there were worshippers there at this site around the late Bronze Age, about 1600 BC. After a while, though, it was noticed that a bunch of men were just dying off. Like they would go and like fall into the earth or dying because they were inhaling too much of this gas. And so what did they do? They chose a woman to go instead.
Of course.
And so from then on, she and subsequent women chosen after her would go and bring back word from, you know, the gods, whatever gods that they were communicating with at the time, you know, even before. You've got the Greek gods. Now, from this point, there were various kinds of oracles. I want to say this is the Chthonian, which sought prophetic dreams by sleeping there at the site. Which, I mean, maybe they're breathing this stuff in and they tripping in their dreams. Like they're just, I mean, I have wacky dreams, but I'm also not breathing in earth fumes. Yeah. Right. So then there were the Cleromantian who prophesied by lot. So something called cleromancy. So like they would throw bones, they would throw dice, rocks. They were playing D&D with real life. Right. They're like, oh, what should I do? And then they would, you know, then they had the Apollonian oracle, so where Apollo is concerned, that we're discussing now. So, you know, this goes way back, even before Apollo and his priests and priestesses and stuff. Now, there's other stories that say, I might get her name wrong. This is the first time I've heard of this person. Feminoe sounds pretty.
Yes.
Feminoe. If that's not her name, it is now. She was the daughter of Apollo, or it could be of Apollo's son, Delphus. But she was said to be the first oracle at Delphi. But yeah, I'd never heard of her before this. So pretty cool. But she was also known as a poet and the creator of hexameter verses in poetry. Some place her as a priestess in other Apollo temples instead, though. So, you know, maybe not. There's other stories that list Themis, the goddess of law and justice, and then Phoebe, goddess of intellect and prophecy. They were goddesses in like 2 of the 12 titans as well. So as the first oracles, until the office of such was handed to Apollo. Okay. Now, in some stories, Themis received the oracle at Delphi from Gaia, her mother, and then gave the site to Phoebe, who later gave it to Apollo, who happened to be her grandson. Got a whole ancestry thing going on over here, right?
Interesting.
So, but she gave it to him as a birthday present. I mean, my grandmother gives, you know, I think I got flowers for my grandmother last birthday, but that's fine. But I definitely didn't get a prophetic site island thing. But that's just one story. In another story, Themis built the Oracle of Delphi herself. And yet another story, Themis helps Apollo find the site for the sake of mankind. In another story, Apollo took Delphi from Gaia or Themis after he slayed the serpent Python who guarded it. Okay, so there's a number of different like tales, some intersect, I'm sure, and that kind of thing. But they all end with Apollo being, the patron god of this place. Now, in the story with Python, some also say that the defeated serpent was thrown into the crevice from which the oracle breathed the fumes. And so some were like, "Oh, it's going to sound gross, but it's the rot of this thing that they're breathing in." And I'm like, "That's disgusting. That's nasty." I was like, "I don't know if I'd want the job after that. Thanks." No. But also, let's see, in early descriptions of the oracle, it was remarked that Apollo lived within the laurel plant, the plant that he found, sacred, and would give oracles like basically the future with the rustling of its leaves. I guess it would tell. I guess they would be able to translate the leaves rustling into prophecy.
Interesting.
So the laurel was more heavily involved than. And earlier on, it was once believed that the art of divination was taught to Apollo by these 3 virginal winged nymph sisters known as the Thriae, who were involved in oracle by lot. So like they would be throwing and picking lots based on like color, and they would place meaning on it. It's like kind of like the throwing of dice or bones, but they were throwing a certain kind.
Is it bad that I was thinking of like the Fates and Hercules?
Yeah, they have the one eye.
Yeah. See, when you started saying that, I was like, oh yeah, and then I was like, wait, nope, that's not them.
I know. Hades is one of my favorite Disney villains. He makes me laugh. He's like, like he like, oh, my hair. Did my hair go out?
Or just like when he yells, "It's fine, I'm fine, everything's fine."
Pain.
One of my favorite gifts that I love to send.
It's great. Adam hadn't seen that movie until we made him watch it like this past year or last year. Yeah. I was like, really? Like the muses. Yeah. The music in that movie is great. So anyway, moving on though. Now, if you visited the Oracle at Delphi when the custom was more popular and well established and the Oracle / priestess was like not available, there wasn't someone available there to you, the priests could apparently answer yes or no questions by the tossing of colored beans. Like one color designated yes, the other no. And I'm just like, it's like the Wish version, the Temu version of the Oracle. Yeah. Do you have to pay as much for that? Like, seems kind of like if you can just do that, why are you breathing? I don't know. Does that work as well? I have so many questions, right? Like, what if that was my question? Excuse me, I have a question. Brought a goat. Sorry.
Oh, you're answering me with beans. Oh,
cool. Okay. Is this the same? Is it though? I don't know. Whatever the case, something wild was just seeping up through the ground beforehand. Okay, so let's get into that. Beans or no beans, there was something crazy going on. Now, there have been many takes, ancient and modern, on how the oracle worked or experienced what she did while muttering her musings. I mentioned
well played.
I mentioned that Plutarch was a priest at Delphi for a number of years, and he documented his opinion that the Pythia, the oracle, was likely breathing in fumes from the Kurna spring waters flowing underneath. Now, when I think spring, I'm like, oh, fresh water. Yeah. Not hallucinogenic fumes, but here we are. Still, more modern researchers have suggested that these, hallucinogenic fumes are exactly what was being inhaled. Right. So, a particularly popular theory is that the fumes being breathed in were of ethylene gas. Now, this is a gas with this sort of musky, sickly sweet smell. Smelled kind of sweet, which was how the inner chamber of the temple was described by Plutarch and others. Like there was this sort of sweet smell to it. Some, like as I said, even believe the smell could be the rotting serpent Python that was killed by Apollo and tossed into the crevice. But, it has ethylene gas has this sort of anesthetic-like effect in high enough doses, and it could induce staggering, dizziness, agitation, euphoria, sort of manic state, altered mental status, a semi-conscious trance-like state, and amnesia after the fact, and sometimes convulsions. So, I mean, kind of sounds like what's going on, right?
Yep.
Breathing ethylene gas could easily lead to someone mumbling incoherently, or shaking or screaming and thrashing, as some have described the experience, Ethylene, as I mentioned, has anesthetic qualities. And according to a major proponent to the field of anesthesia, Isabella Kohler-Erb, a dose of ethylene gas up to 20% could induce a trance in which subjects could sit up, hear questions, and answer them logically, though with altered speech patterns, and they might lose some awareness and sensitivity in their hands and feet. So they were like kind of awake, but not really.
Yeah.
Like this trance sort of state. And after recovery, they would have no recollection of what had happened. With a dose.
Basically us before coffee.
Yeah, basically. We could be oracles. Just come to me in the morning. I might be grumpy.
Ask me all
the
questions.
I might be grumpy. I might be screaming and thrashing too.
Yeah.
Not because of you, just because, I have to get up for another day of this.
Feel that.
Yeah, here we are. Now, with a dose higher than 20%, the patients lost control over their limbs. They might thrash wildly, groaning and staggering. And this just kind of matches just that ancient description, written of oracle encounters, including those of Plutarch, who worked with the oracle for as long as he did. At low levels, ethylene gas is generally considered non-toxic to humans. However, in higher doses, it can cause asphyxia because it displaces oxygen in the blood. Kind of like how carbon monoxide does. It takes the place of oxygen, just kind of pushes it out of the way. Now, it's actually produced in small amounts by plants, fruits like bananas. That's what causes them to ripen. Like if you put them in a bag together, they're all together, they emit this gas and they ripen a lot faster, that kind of deal.
So what you're saying is if we just got the bananas downstairs, put them in a bag.
Yeah, they will, but like they might do it a little too fast. By the time you notice, they're like,
we missed it. We missed our opportunity.
Yeah,
to be
it's
the
like
oracle.
Avocados,
Yeah.
Like, well, this might take a couple of days, and then like 3 a.m. tomorrow, it's like, I'm here, I'm good. And then like by the time you get to it, it's gone. It's gone. It's over. It is used in agricultural operations to quicken the ripening process for underripe fruits. So like products that reach stores, they can reach it in good condition to eat. And it's also used to speed the sprouting of seedlings. So it is used, by us as humans to speed things along. It's a natural plant hormone. It can be used commercially. It does have other uses in various industries, including the creation of plastics, fuels, and refrigerants, but this usually involves some chemical additions to make ethylene oxide or polyethylene glycol, which is the main ingredient in antifreeze, which we know is toxic. Both of these are actually highly toxic in comparison to simple ethylene gas. So a little chemistry there, Now, another idea presented is that the oracle was breathing in benzene, methane, carbon dioxide, or hydrogen sulfide. So just for a quick breakdown, benzene is a toxic gas. It could also cause similar neurological symptoms and signs, confusion, semi to unconsciousness, dizziness, and convulsions, as well. But it also caused respiratory irritation, anemia, and eventually cancer, like leukemia specifically, which, could fit the whole, like, well, they, their lives are shortened by this service. But I feel like you would notice the respiratory irritation, or maybe it just wasn't, maybe it wasn't mentioned, but still, like, I feel like ethylene is still the one to go with, but this is just another possibility. Now, methane is another gas that may cause the loss of consciousness, rapid breathing, heart rate, dizziness, euphoria, vision problems, and confusion. It is naturally odorless, and it would not account for the smell mentioned by those, who had been in the inner chamber. But then again, maybe the smell was caused by something else entirely. I don't know. Maybe there was a python down there that was rotting. I don't know. Who knows? In high doses, it, like ethylene gas, is an asphyxiant, and it will displace oxygen in the blood as well. So it can cause you to asphyxiate in high enough doses. Now, consistent exposure can lead to long-term cardiovascular, respiratory, and neuro problems. If you're breathing it in a lot over time. It's also highly flammable.
Yeah.
So, like, I feel like if that's down there in high enough amounts, if someone brings a torch down there, it's poof. I feel like maybe the oracle wouldn't have lasted so long. So anyway, normally if there's a methane leak, you'll find other gases like ethylene and hydrogen sulfide as well too. It's very common. It's a very common gas being found, in landfills, coal mines, livestock facilities, wastewater treatment facilities. It's kind of everywhere. It's in smaller amounts, enough amounts to be present, but so it can easily build up underground and leak through a crevice.
Yeah.
But carbon dioxide, most of us know what carbon dioxide is. We breathe it out. Plants like to take it in, but it's also an asphyxiant. And if in poorly ventilated areas, you can experience something called sick building syndrome. So it's basically you're inhaling too much carbon dioxide because there's not enough ventilation in the room, and it can cause confusion, dizziness, fatigue, nausea, headaches, and irritation to the ears, nose, and throat. Now, too much for too long, and you end up with acidosis, metabolic acidosis, and asphyxia, meaning your pH needs to stay in a precise, precise number, about 7.35. Doesn't like to change.
Yeah.
And so if it goes down, you're in trouble. If it goes up, you're in trouble. But this can cause it to go down to where you get metabolic acidosis, and then of course asphyxia, as it also displaces oxygen. So you should be breathing it out, not in, right? Finally, hydrogen sulfide. Now, low concentrations of this can irritate the nose, throat, and lungs. High levels can lead to pulmonary edema, which is just the fluid in the lungs, which will end up kind of suffocating you that way.
Yeah.
But also severe respiratory distress, likely from that too. It also has a rotten egg smell, but after a while, the nose can become kind of blind to this. But no one mentioned a rotten egg smell, so I don't think it would be that either. I lean more towards, again, the ethylene gas theory. It just seems like the most possible, the most probable one to me.
Yeah.
But I also just want to tell you how the idea of the inhalation of some gas from the earth seeping in to cause the Oracle at Delphi was tossed around, debated, debunked, and then tossed around again. Because for a while it was like, yes, this is what it was. And then people were like, no, it wasn't. And now we're back to, actually, yeah, that's about right. So there were obviously excavations over the years of this site, and different things were found at different times. In 1892, French archaeologists reported that they found no fissure or way for toxic or hallucinogenic fumes to enter the temple. So they were like, oh, this couldn't be the case. There is no fissure. There is nothing here. But with this information, British art historian and museum official Adolphe Paul Ope, not sure of the name, sorry if I got it wrong, but he published an article in 1904 stating no chasm or vapor ever existed, no natural gas could create prophetic visions, and the recorded incidence of a priestess undergoing violent and often deadly reactions was inconsistent with the more customary reports. Which, it's not true that no natural gas could create prophetic visions, because there is an instance in which carbon monoxide poisoning can cause you to hallucinate, see things, and there's quite a few gases that can cause you to hallucinate and see things and do things. So, this was back in 1904 too. So here we are. So other historians and scholars continued to teach and write that there was no crevice, no possible fumes that could induce the oracle to act as she did. So that was the thing for a long time. Some even said that there's no way a volcanic area like that surrounding Delphi could produce such fumes. And I'm like,
why not?
Why would, what? But it's volcanic gases. Anyway.
The gases have to come out somewhere.
Yeah,
otherwise
better out than in.
Yeah, right.
Well, maybe not in our case, but so, but yeah, none of these scholars were geologists or knew much about the science at all. They're just, they were smart in other areas and were a little too confident. They were like, well, I must know all the things. But they were not geologists. And there's been a lot discovered, since then too. So these old French excavations were revisited recently, not like yesterday, but, relatively recently. And there were photographs taken that obviously show spring-like pools and multiple vertical fissures, indicating that gases could have entered through the base of the temple. They're obviously there. These fissures are there. Maybe they were looking for huge cracks. I don't know. But
Yeah.
In the 1980s, a new team consisting of a geologist, an archaeologist, a forensic chemist, and a toxicologist investigated the site and discovered 2 major fault lines underneath, one lying north to south, the Kurna Fault, and the other lying east to west, the Delphic Fault.
Mm-hmm.
And they noticed that the temple most likely sat upon the site where those 2 faults met.
Yeah.
Which,
Mm-hmm.
pretty coincidental there.
Yep.
But other evidence found included that for underground passages and chambers and drains for spring water, they found deposits of bitumen deep under the earth there. Now bitumen is this viscous form of petroleum.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it can be this like a sticky liquid. It can act kind of liquidy over time. It's just it's like molasses that's been cold. Like it can move, but it's not.
It just takes a second.
Yeah. It's a solid liquid.
There you go.
Something like that.
What was that we learned about in elementary school?
Is it a Newtonian?
It was oobleck.
Oobleck. It's a
where it's like it's a liquid, but when you put pressure, it's a solid.
It's a Newtonian something. My brain does not want to work today. No,
it's Friday.
It's Newtonian. But come back here. I'm gonna find it. I still have to look the other thing up too. I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna remember.
What was it? You said the Cassandra something.
Yeah, Newtonian. It's a Newtonian fluid. I had the idea of fluid in my head. I'm like, no, that's not it.
It can't be that easy.
Yeah, Newtonian fluid. The viscosity remains constant regardless of the shear rate or force applied. So it flows, but it's like, yeah.
Gotcha.
Or it's a non-Newtonian fluid. That's what we're thinking of.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting them mixed up. It's a non-Newtonian fluid. Here we go. I'm going to find it. We're going to get this right. Yeah, here we go. Non-Newtonian fluids have variable viscosity changing from liquid to semi-solid under stress, like toothpaste, cornstarch and water, ketchup, and blood. Lovely. So yeah. That's what it was. I was like, that sounds too short. It's non-Newtonian fluid. There we go. Told you we'd find it. We figured it out.
Nice.
I'm probably confusing so many people right now. My bad.
Go look it up yourselves.
My bad.
Right.
My bad.
Go check it out. Learn some new stuff. Right.
There we go. So, bitumen.
Yeah.
Bitumen.
Yeah,
so, yeah, but asphalt and pitch are kind of examples of this. Earthquakes could easily cause friction, heating up this bitumen, this substance, and it would release vapors of these hydrocarbons like ethylene gas that could rise up through vents and crevices in the rock. Like you could easily do that. During 2001, water samples from the Kurna Spring uphill from the temple, which is it's actually now diverted to the nearby town in Delphi. There's like a new town there, a modern town of Delphi. And this yielded evidence of 0.3 parts per million of ethylene. Now, it's likely that concentrations were much higher than that in the time of ancient Greece.
Right.
Seismic changes like earthquakes over time may have opened new channels away from the temple or closed those that were there before. Things change. Plutarch claimed that there was less pneuma in his time than there had been once, leading to this decline in the temple's popularity. So like less of this breath or spirit or gas was coming through.
Yeah.
So that's something that he had noticed. Cicero also noted in his writing that the oracle's popularity had dwindled as time passed and that the divine prophetic power had dried up over time. Now, over the years of inactive seismic activity since the shifts, involving with the changing of concentrations, possible gases, there are only small amounts detected of ethylene, ethane, and methane gases like these days,
Yeah.
So as the fumes became less and less and eventually ceased to build up, there was less and less communication with the divine, if you will. They're not tripping no more, right? If we're going to say it.
Yeah.
Simply. They're not communicating with Apollo anymore. That should be like a code phrase. He's not communicating with Apollo anymore. That should mean something. I don't know. We're going to make it mean something.
We're going to start a trend.
And if you're like an OG, like listener, you'll know what we're talking about. Someone's going to see me like in 10 years and be like, he's not communicating with Apollo anymore. And I'll be like, what? Gerald? No. So the end of the Oracle came in the late 4th century CE. It's about 393, between 393 395. This is when Roman Emperor Theodosius I banned any sort of pagan religion and ordered the destruction of all pagan temples. So he instituted Nicene Christianity as the official religion of Rome in 380 AD, and this was after it had been gaining popularity since its legalization there by Constantine in 313 AD. In 362 AD, the Roman Emperor Julian, all I see is a lemur in my head. King Julian. I like to move it.
That movie's funny.
Yes, but he was known as Julian the Apostate because he tried to restore paganism over Christianity. And he sent an envoy, Oribasius, to reopen the Oracle of Delphi and request a prophecy. Now, the site by then was in ruins, it pretty much dried up. And the last oracle's prophecy, the final prophecy was said to be, "Tell the king the fair wrought house has fallen. No shelter has Apollo, nor sacred laurel leaves. The fountains are now silent. The voice is stilled. It is finished." So it's kind of depressing if you think about it.
Yeah.
Like if you're, I don't know, like you're like, oh man, I
was planning on going on a trip over there.
Yeah. The ruins of the Temple of Apollo can be visited today, where you can also see ruins of a theater. There's a stadium there. It's within Parnassus National Park. It's where the Parnassus Mountains are.
Yeah.
Really pretty looking place. I've never been there, but I'd love to go. The ruins are a UNESCO World Heritage Site. There is also a modern town, like I mentioned, of Delphi nearby. And honestly, I think we should visit to see if we smell any sweet remnants of the area. Maybe we meet Gerald Apollo. Like Gerald's like Apollo's great grandson. I don't know.
Something like that.
And he's like, I'm going to rebuild Atlantis. I don't know. I'm just making things up at this point.
I mean, it could happen.
Gerald,
you never know.
Come save us. This world is crazy.
Man.
Yes, so that's our story of the Oracle at Delphi. I am sorry if I got any words mispronounced. I'm sure there's one in there that I mispronounced because it was the first I'd seen it. So do give me a break. I am sorry. I tried. I did my best. I did my best. Cassandra.
Yeah.
Thank you. Cassandra.
No, it's really cool though. In Assassin's Creed Odyssey, you do get to meet the Oracle of Delphi, but you also find out so there's this group in the game that's like the bad guys called the Cult of Cosmos, and they kind of control the Oracle and what she says and everything, which is kind of interesting. So
that is interesting.
If you really like history and you kind of want to explore the Greek world, I recommend.
I think I've played a little bit of some of them. I always worry that I'm going to suck at the stealth portion. I'm just going to get caught.
That one is not. I mean, there's some elements of stealth, but it's more. It's an open world kind of.
Okay. See, I think I could do that because I've played games where I've had to be stealthy before, and when I get caught, I'm like, oh my god, I freak out. And I'm like, oh god, I've been seen. It's all over from here.
I will say the more the original Assassin's Creed games, it's a little more stealth involved, but the newer open world ones aren't. I mean, there's some, but like I said, not as.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Baldur's Gate, and there's a way you drink the invisibility potions, or you can become invisible for a little bit, and I'm like, oh cool, I'm invisible. I'm gonna go see if I can rob this thing or whatever. But then you get there and now you're visible again because it doesn't last very long, and you're like, oh my god, I'm just kidding.
I'm stretching my legs.
But yes, the Cassandra effect. It describes a situation where a person's valid concerns, emotional needs, or warnings are consistently ignored, dismissed, or invalidated, causing them distress, loneliness, and self-doubt. It's named after the Greek myth where Cassandra was cursed to speak truth that no one believed. Okay. Which is honestly a very clever curse. I wouldn't want it, but...
Yeah.
So basically, she was... Greek mythology, she was cursed by Apollo, where her prophecies were accurate, but nobody would believe her.
Yikes.
Thanks.
Appreciate that.
So that's the Cassandra effect. And I'm glad I remembered to go over that but it's called the Cassandra effect now because today it's you'll be telling somebody the truth or about what you're experiencing, what you're feeling. And you're not being believed.
Yeah.
And so that's where that, I guess that's where it comes from. It's almost like, what is the word? You're being
gaslit.
Yes, gaslit.
Hey, and it makes sense. They're breathing those fumes. They're
I'm telling you,
being gaslighting themselves. I don't know.
There's something about today where my brain, like, I go to remember a word and it's like, nope. So I'm having trouble with that today.
It's the end of the week.
It is. I know. Yeah. And my brain is, not with it anymore. It's like, no, we don't want to work anymore. We don't want to do that anymore.
I feel that so bad.
It's like, we are done. We are off. It is
it's
winter.
The weekend.
Apollo is on vacation. Dionysus is here. Go have a glass of wine.
Right.
That's what it's like. So,
I mean, shoot.
But yeah, there's our Greek mythology for the week and the Oracle at Delphi.
Woo!
So thank you for joining.
Thanks for having me.
And I know we'll have some more fun times on here as well.
Oh, yeah.
So let us know, you guys, what I pronounced incorrectly, but also let us know anything else you guys know about the Oracle of Delphi or Apollo or any other interesting Greek mythological facts, because we always love to see those. And we'll see you guys for the next one. Bye! Bye.